Welcome back to another video lecture of Financial Derivative and Risk Management, and you are watching Event College Digital Classes with Amita Patra, Head of the Department, Master of Commerce, Finance and Control. So dear students, we are discussing the theories of future prices, and in that we have learned that there are two basic theories, or there are two theories which are in most of the use, and that are the carrying cost theory and the expectation theory. And we are discussing that what is this carrying cost, what are the types of carrying cost, and what is the approach of carrying cost in the future markets or in financial derivatives. In today's lecture, we are going to go in deep, and we are going to discuss that what is this cost of carry approach in the perfect competition market and an imperfect competition market. So without any delay, let's dive into the subject of today's discussion. So the cost of carry model in perfect market first we will discuss. So the following formula describe a general cost of carry price relationship between the spot price and the future price of any asset, and that is the future price is equal to the spot price plus the carrying cost. So the future price is the spot price and the carrying cost that the commodity or the underlying asset will take with it. So this is what the future price is. And in addition, the formula assumes the conditions of perfect competition. What are the conditions of the perfect competition? Let's see. That are that there are no information or transaction costs associated with the buying and selling the asset. There is unlimited capacity to borrow and lend. Borrowing and lending rates are the same. There is no credit risk. No margin is required on buying and selling the asset. Goods can be stored indefinitely without loss to the quality of the goods, and there are no taxes. So these are the conditions that it is saying that will be there in the perfect competition market. So there are various rules that are there in relation to the cost of carry. So there are various rules which are been given, or we can say that are been put forward by the experts of this field, or of the field of the financial derivatives, or the one who are thoroughly examining and those who are giving a deep view on this particular aspect. So they have given, or we can say they have put forward various rules on this cost of carry. So let's have a look on the rules that are there for the cost of carry. So some financial experts have suggested certain rules relating to cost of carry, as we have said. So we will be starting with the rule 1, or the first rule, and what it is saying that the future price must be less than or equal to the spot price of the asset plus the carrying charges necessary to carry the spot asset forward to delivery. So what it is saying that the future price must be less than or equal to the spot price of that particular asset and the carrying charge which is necessary till the date of delivery. That what the rule 1 is saying. And mathematically, if we can express it, it will be like this, that the future price is less than equal to the spot price and 1 plus C, that is the carrying cost, where the FOT is the future price at the time when the time t is equal to 0. That means when we are starting the contract, or the spot, or the time when we are taking the contract, that is the t0, and the delivery is at t is equal to 1, at that is the future time. And S0, that is the spot price at the initial time, that is when the time is 0 or when we are starting the contract. So that is S0 is the spot price. Then C is the cost of carry, and expressed as fraction proportion of the spot price. So FOT is the future price at the initial time, S0 is the spot price at the initial time, and the C is the cost of carry that is expressed as the fraction proportion of the spot price. So the mathematical expression, if you will say, of the future price as per the rule 1 will be like this. So next we will go to the second rule. What it is saying, that the futures price must be equal to or greater than the spot price plus the cost of carrying the goods to the futures delivery date. So what the second rule is saying, that the future price must be equal to or greater than the spot price, and if mathematically we will express it, it will be FOT is greater than or equal to SO and 1 plus C. So this is, if the price do not obey this rule, there will be arbitrage opportunity. So if this rule will not be obeyed, or if this rule is not happening, then there will be arbitrage opportunity. And both the above rules, that is the rule 1 and rule 2, are opposite to each other, which are also known as cash and carry arbitrage and reverse cash and carry arbitrage. So if we will observe that in rule 1 and in rule 2, they are quite contradictory, or they are quite opposite to each other. In one, we are taking FOT is greater than equal to the spot price, that is SO, and the carrying cost. In the other, it is less than the cost, the spot price and the carrying cost. So they are quite contrary, and as it is been said, that they are known as the cash and carry arbitrage and the reverse cash and carry arbitrage. And both the above two rules, it implies to rule 3. So these two rules will be reflected or implies in rule 3. The what rule 3 is saying, that the future price must equal the spot price plus the cost of carry the spot. So commodity forward to the delivery date of the futures contract. So mathematically, if we will put this rule 3, it will be FOT is equal to S0 and 1 plus C. So what it is saying. So this is applicable under the conditions of the perfect market. So when there is a perfect market condition, or when we are saying that there is perfect competition in the market, so that time the future price and spot price will be equal, as it is implied in the rule number 3. There is another rule 4, and the distant future prices must be less than or equal to the nearby future price plus the cost of carrying the asset from the nearby delivery date to the distant delivery date. This is what the rule 4 is saying, and mathematically, if you will express it, it will be like this. And in that, if OD is the futures price at T0 for the distance delivery contract maturity at time T, and if ON is the futures price at T is equal to 0 for the nearby delivery contract maturity at T is equal to N. So C is the percentage cost of carrying the asset from R is equal to N to T is equal to D. So this is what the rule 4 is saying, where we have the concept of distance future price, and what it is saying, that it must be less than or equal to the nearby futures price plus the cost of carrying the asset from the nearby delivery date to the distant delivery date. So it is observed that if this relationship did not hold, then a trader may purchase the nearby futures contract and sell the distant contract. So if this rule 4, as we have discussed in the rule 4, if this situation or this condition is not happening or it didn't hold, then the trader may purchase the nearby futures contract and sell the distant contracts, what it is saying. And he will then accept the delivery on nearby contract and carry the asset until the delivery of the distant contract, and thereby earning a profit. So it will earn a profit by accepting the delivery on a nearby contract and carry the asset until the delivery of the distant contract. So, another rule is there, that is the rule 5, and the nearby futures price plus the cost of carrying the asset from the nearby delivery date to the distant delivery date cannot exceed the distant future price, what it is saying in the rule 5. And mathematically we are expressing it as FOD is greater than equal to FON, and 1 plus C where D is greater than N. And following the same pattern of argument for spot and future prices, we may use for above also. So, the argument that we have made previously can be an argument in this situation also. Another rule is there, rule 6, and what rule 6 is saying, that the distant futures price must equal the nearby futures price plus the cost of carrying the asset from the nearby to the distant delivery date. And mathematically we are expressing it at FOD is equal to FON, and 1 plus C D is greater than N. And it should be noted that if above relationship are not fulfilled or violated, the traders would immediately recognize all the arbitrage opportunity until prices are adjusted. And however, the basic rules, that is the rule 3 and 6 developed above provide a very useful framework for analyzing the relationship between cash and future prices and spreads between the future prices. So, these are the various rules that are being put forward by the experts, and the basic rules that we have discussed in rule 3 and rule 6, the traders, or we can say the arbitrator, are getting a relationship between the cash price and the future price, and also they are able to know that what is the spread price between this. So, these are the rules that are being put forward by the experts of the derivative market, or the financial experts we can say, on the perfect market condition of cost of carry. Now, what could be the cost of carry model in an imperfect market? So, we have seen the relationship between the spot price and future price in the conditions of perfect market, which is rare in actual practice. So, if we will see in practice or in the real world, a perfect market condition is very rare or next to impossible, we can say. There is moreover an imperfect market condition. So, this imperfect market conditions, how this cost of carry model is approaching, let us see. There are various imperfection in real market which disturb the relationship of rule 3 and rule 6 that we have already discussed. And among the various imperfections, 5 are very important. So, there could be various imperfections in market, and which is going to contradict or deviate the rule 3 and 6 stating, or the rule 3 and 6 what we have already discussed and stated can be deviated if these imperfections in the market will be considered. So, out of those all imperfection that will be there in the market or that is expected in the market, there are 5 basic, or we can say that 5 important imperfections that are there in the markets. Let us discuss these 5 imperfections that are there in the market. First is direct transaction cost. So, in actual practice, when a trader makes the spot of futures transactions, he has to pay a fee known as brokerage fee or commission. So, in other words, transaction costs refer to all such costs which have to be borne by the trader to buy or sell a particular asset for spot or futures. So, direct transactions, by that we can say that simply it is the commission or the brokerage fee that a trader need to take when it is going for a future transaction. So, these costs are transaction fees, exchange fees, and charges or fees for arranging funds, etc. So, these could be the direct transaction costs, and it is also called as the round trip fee. So, the direct transaction cost could also be called as the round trip fee. So that could be a imperfection in the market, that is the direct transaction cost. Next, we have unequal or differential borrowing and lending rates. So it could be an imperfection that when there is inequality in the borrowing and lending rates. So it refers to that market situation where the rates of interest on borrowing and lending are different and they are not equal. A rate of interest on borrowing and the rate of interest on lending are unequal in this situation, and normally in a real market borrowing rates are higher than the lending rates. So these differentials of borrowing and lending rates serve to widen the no arbitrage boundaries. So we have already known, and it is a very basic concept that the borrowing interest rate is always higher than the lending interest rates. So this difference in the borrowing interest rate and the lending interest rate could be a imperfection, or could be a, we can say, deviation for the perfect market, and this is widening the no arbitrage boundaries. Next, we have a restriction on short selling. So this is another market imperfection, and earlier we have assumed that traders can sell assets short and use the proceeds from the short sale without any restrictions. So due to inherent risk in short sale, there are restrictions on short selling virtually in all markets. So this is a restriction, or we can say that this is a imperfection that is there in the market. And then we have bid ask spread, and it is another market imperfection, because we see in actual practice that the trader tries to sell the asset at higher price than to purchase the same, and the difference between bid price and ask price is called the bid ask spread. So the difference between the bid price and ask price is called the bid ask spread. So basically, or generally, we want to buy the asset or purchase the asset at a low cost or low price, we can say, and we want to sell it at a higher price so that we can make good profit. So that is a general trader tendency. So the difference between these buying and selling prices, or the difference between this bid and ask, and the spread that we are saying between this bid and ask, could be an imperfection in the market. Next is the storage problem. The storability of an commodity is very important in futures market trading, and it is another market imperfection, because except gold, most of the commodity cannot be stored very well at all. And if a commodity cannot be stored, then full arbitrage opportunity will not be available in the market. So we have discussed about the storage problem while we are discussing the cost of carry, or we have discussed about that the storage cost is a type of carrying cost. So while we are doing a futures trading, or while we are in the futures trading, apart from the gold, the other commodities have a very much problem of the storing, and this is a very much problem with the storability of the commodity, that is an imperfection in the market. So this is what in all we have know, that what is this cost of carry model, or the cost of carry approach of the future prices is. And there is another theory, that is the expectation theory. So let's see that what is this expectation theory. So any traders or investors, especially those using futures market to hedge, would like to study how today's futures prices are related to market expectations about the future prices. So let's understand this expectation approach with an example. So there is general expectation that the price of the gold next November will be 50,000 per 10 grams, and the future price today for February must be somewhat reflected this expectation. So if today's futures price is 49,000 for gold, going long futures will yield an expected profit of 1,000 rupees. So the expected futures profit will be equal to the expected future price minus the initial future price, and the expected profit will be of this 1000 rupees which we are going to gain from this. So, this is what the expectation approach is, and any major deviation of the futures price from the expected price will be corrected by speculative activity. So, profit seeking speculators will trade as long as the futures price is sufficiently far away from the expected future spot price. So, this approach may be expressed F0t is equal to E0ST, and where F0t is futures price at time when time is 0, and the E0ST is the expression at time is equal to 0 of the spot price to prevail at time t. So, the above equation states that the futures price approximately equals the spot price currently expected to prevail at the delivery date, and if this relationship did not hold, there would be attractive speculative opportunities which will be available. So, in simple terms, if we will say the futures price are influenced to some extent on expectations prevailing at the current time. So, under this hypothesis, if markets are operating properly, then current future price is equal to the expected future spot price, and this is also known as hypothesis of unbiased futures pricing, because it advocates that the futures price is an unbiased predictor of the future spot price, and on an average the futures price will forecast the futures spot correctly. So, we have seen above that on an average or approximately what have been used to equalize the current futures price with the expected futures spot price. So, overall, if we can say that the expectation approach is saying that currently we are expecting that the future price is going to up or down, or we can say that current spot price we are assuming and we are having expected future price. So, that is what the expectation approach is saying. So, what this relationship hold on approximately if we will question. So, there are two arguments to this question. So, firstly it is due to the transaction cost, and transaction cost can keep the futures price for exactly equaling and expected future spot price, and secondly due to risk aversion of the traders. So, this could be the arguments of holding the relationship between the expected price and the current spot price. So, this is what the expectation approach is. So, these two, the cost of carry approach and the expectation approach, can well define that what will be the future price, or the future pricing theories are been well defined in these video lectures, and I hope that we have understand that what is the cost of carry approach and what is the expectation approach, and how we are going to price the futures assets, or we are going to predict the future prices, and these are the theoretical basis of pricing the futures. So, this is all, and we have end up with the theories of the future prices. In next class, we will be discussing more on the financial derivatives. For today, this is all. Thank you.